Good morning, everyone. I am Felongco, together with my partner, Crispino, and we are under the advisory of Dr. Jocelyn Iturralde. Today, we will present our study entitled Advantages and Disadvantages of Blended Learning to the Research Study of B.Ed student of Cavite State University, Dayao Satellite College. Background of the study. Every learner always struggles for his or her own research in this time of pandemic. He or she tends to do his or her research even he or she are struggling in his or her studies. Internet connections, financial problems, and other personal struggles, blended both online learning and offline learning, it is also relevant to this time. Academic success plays a crucial role in an individual's life and it's of great societal relevance. Academic success, for example, enables further progress on one's academic path or access to occupational qualification. It is often used as a metric to access institutional performance. Aliayan and Desigor 2020, Strency 2007, Bromulin and Schramed 2008. The past 2 decades have been characterized by digital transformations, e.g. ubiquity of computers and network coverage, that facilitate the conduct of online courses and distance learning. Furthermore, the current situation related to COVID-19 pandemic containment measures, including home confinement, social distancing, suspension of gatherings, and closings of schools, has exponentially increased the use of online courses and distance learning. Dietrich et al. 2020, blended learning is an approach used in distance learning and combines online modes of learning, e.g. broadcast material and activities delivered online via learning platform system, and offline modes of learning, e.g. face-to-face session at a given time in a physical classroom, Vonk and Graham 2006. Online learning, compared with offline learning, is characterized by an individualization of learning, including aspects such as autonomy, flexibility, and use of multiple information and communication technologies. Last et al. 2013, in the education sector, the internet is a perfect device in learning that indicates flexibility and expediency to students while offering endless opportunities for teachers and innovative teaching. By using internet, the material is designed electronically, focused on encouraging and involving teachers and students to apply blended learning system. Blended learning is learning that combines online and face-to-face learning. Over the past few years, a growing number of studies have explored the teachers' and students' perception of blended learning for learning environment. Some studies, e.g. Bakarudina and Elias 2013, Piatin, Rachmawati, and Ratmawati 2017, Jahasan 2015, Kusar 2016, Moshin and Shapig C. P. 2014, Pitaloka Agranati, Kumiu Awan, Erlina, and Jaya 2020 conclude that blended learning in the learning process had some advantages such as usefulness, easiness, flexibility, satisfaction, and effectiveness. Nevertheless, other studies have found some disadvantages of blended learning, for instance, the lack of skills in using technology, network problems, and waste of time. Adosimani, Shepard, and Bolliger 2019, Rombi 2014, Sari, and Waldutin 2019. The main reason why the researchers conduct this study was to determine to distinguish the advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of B.Ed student of Cavite State University, Dayao Satellite College, as seen and perceived by the B.Ed students. The researchers believe that this study will help to identify the advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of B.Ed student of Cavite State University, Dayao Satellite College. Statement of the problem. These studies pertain by advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of B.Ed students of Cavite State University, Dayao Satellite College. Significantly, this study sought to answer the following questions. First, What are the advantages of blended learning to the research studies perceived by the respondents? Second, what are the disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies perceived by the respondents? And third, what are the strategies of BEd students to the research studies perceived by the respondents? Theoretical framework. Firstly, that the cognitive unit of analysis is larger than the individual and cognitive process occur, on the basis of functional relationship of elements that participate together in the process whenever they may occur. Secondly, cognitive events do not necessarily occur within a human individual. And thirdly, one needs to study culture as well as cognition. Distributed cognition returns culture, context, and history to the picture of cognition. Conceptual framework. The study was based on the advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of BEd students of Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College as perceived by the respondents was affected by certain variables in Dayao Satellite College. Independent variables are the BEd students of CAPSU Dayao. The dependent variables, advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of BEd student of Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College. Figure 1.1 is schematic diagram showing the difference between the dependent and independent variables. Significance of the study. This study can provide additional information about the advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of BEd students of Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College as perceived by the respondents. Furthermore, the result of this study will be great help to some concerned individuals. The students. The utmost benefit of this study will be the student who experiencing this kind of new environment of blended learning. The faculty. The result of this study will be valuable to the faculty because it can give them an idea what are the perceived effect of blended learning to the working students. The future researchers. It will give them benefit to the future researchers who may conduct the same or related study, which this study will serve as their reference. Scope and limitation. This study advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of BEd students of Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College was conducted during the second semester academic year 2020 to 2021 at Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College. The respondents of the study were the BEd 4th year, 4A, 4B, and 4C of Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College. The researchers used descriptive correlational survey method. The instrument used was the adapted survey questionnaire. Advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of BEd student of Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College. The advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of BEd student of Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College as perceived by the respondents. This study used descriptive statistical tools such as frequency counts, percentage, and mean, and inferential statistical tools such as analysis of variance or ANOVA.
So now, let us proceed to the methodology. This chapter discusses the research design, locale of the study, respondents of the study, research instrument, data gathering procedure, data analysis procedure, and statistical tools. Research design. This study used the descriptive method of research. Descriptive method is a type of research that describes a situation or given a state of affairs in terms of specified aspects of factors. David, 2002. Locale of the study. This study was conducted at Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College during the second semester of academic year 2020 to 2021. Respondents of the study. The respondents of this study were the 36 taken from a population of 126 BEd 4th year students of Capiz State University Dayao Satellite College for the school year 2021 to 2022. Population and sample size of the respondents in section. So from the section 4A, the population size is 38, the sample size is 11, while the B.Ed 4B, the population size is 42 and the sample size is 12. From the B.Ed 4C, the population size is 46 and the sample size is 14. The total of the population size is 126 and the sample size is 36. Research instrument. The instrument used in this study was advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of B.Ed students of Capiz State University Dayo Satellite College survey questionnaire, which had two parts. Part 1 dealt with the socio-demographic profile of the respondent. Advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of B.Ed students of Capiz State University Dayo Satellite College. For the content of the instrument, it must describe the content itself and must describe its relevance to the different type of the criteria. Data gathering procedure. Before the gathering of the needed data, the researcher secured a permission letter from the chair. After the approval of the letter of request and granted the permission to conduct the study, the researchers immediately reached out to the target respondents and explained the objectives of this study. The researchers personally administered the instruments to the respondents to assure 100% retrieval. Data analysis procedure. The gathered data were tabulated, analyzed, and interpreted for interpretation. To facilitate accuracy, analysis, and interpretation of the data, the items were scored using the following scoring guide. This is the scoring items, the score, and the responses category. So the score is 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. To interpret the results, the following guide will be used: the scoring interval and the verbal interpretation. So the scoring interval is 4.21 to 5, 3.41 to 4.20, 2.61 to 3.40, 1.81 to 2.60, and 1 to 1.80. Statistical tools. The gathered data were treated, analyzed, interpreted using statistical package for social science or SPSS software 17.0. Frequency count, percentage, and mean were used to determine the advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of B.Ed students of Capiz State University Dayo Satellite College. T-test was used to determine the difference between the advantages and disadvantages of blended learning to the research studies of B.Ed students of Capiz State University Dayo Satellite College when grouped according to year and section and level of significance.